voice of legal immigrants. My name is Jyotsna Sharma, and you know me very well now. Many episodes, many advocacy efforts I have done together with you for the green card backlog. The contentious green card backlog for 600,000 high skilled immigrants in the United States of America has been troubling a lot of people here. All of us, rather, I would say, who are in this backlog, who are waiting for a day when they will actually get freedom to pursue their dreams, to change their employers, to move freely out and inside and outside the country, and to do whatever they want to do. Permanent residency, because they are here for last 15, 20 years, and still people are waiting for their green cards. Many bills have been proposed in the past. Bills have been named and renamed, but nothing has happened. People garnered support. Sometimes it got successful with the passing, the recent bill, the S386, passed the House, but got stuck in the Senate. Now, today we will be talking about the challenges the green card backlog community is facing and what could be the probable solutions. Today, I have an esteemed guest with me, a person who got to know about this green card backlog issue only in 2017. His name is Mr. Shali Kumar, also known as Shalabh Kumar, founder of RSC and AVG Advanced Technologies Group. A person who's an entrepreneur, a business tycoon, a person who has many, many patents to his name. I will introduce a lot of his achievements and his background to you after some time. But before that, I will welcome him right now. So Shaliji, welcome to this special session today.
Well, thank you for having me on your show. It should be quite an interesting and invigorating as well as an enlightening program where your viewers know the real facts.
Absolutely. That's why I've called you. And my dear viewers, we have another guest with me right now. Here is Mr. K.O. Anderson. He is the executive director of RHC and is also the head of government relations of RSC. K.O., welcome to this special session.
Thank you, Jyotsna. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Excellent. Thank you so much. My dear viewers, as you all know, that a lot of commotion is going on right now. On one side, there is extensive advocacy effort going on for the bill S386, Fairness for High-Skilled Immigrants, a bill that aspires to remove the per-country quota and aspires to give first-come, first-serve, benefits to the people who are stuck in the green card backlog. Of course, bill looks justified for a lot of good reasons that we will be discussing in detail. And of course, I welcome you today to call me today live on this show to speak to my guest. But at the same time, if we speak about S386, there is another parallel effort also in the run. That is for an executive order to be passed by the president where he can at least give the green card backlog community minimal EADs. They could be so-called I-140 EADs in a form where there would be no conditions attached to it and where they should be able to consider the legal dreamer kits, as they say, DALCA is a term for them. And the EAD that will give the freedom for people to go in and out of the country, and EAD that will also give them respite from the hassle of getting advanced payrolls and many other things. If this is an EO, many things can be worked out. But who will help us out? How can it be done? These are contentious issues. People have personal interests. Political interest could be there, or there could be another personal interest. Various organizations have come up. Various people have come up in the past and in the recent trends also. But we really do not know whom to trust, what to follow, what not to. And we are so exasperated, so troubled by the fact that we really are not able to understand which direction to follow. One is the route we've been following for many years. Almost 12 to 13 years of advocacy is already on by reputed organizations, but no results have come so far. So what should be done? To talk about everything, now I will give the stage to my esteemed guest, Mr. Shalabh Kumar. Well, about his introduction, I will come, but Shaliji, little intro from you on this aspect of the bills, how the bills are made. I'll start from there and I will introduce you in detail to my audience a little later. Give us a little insight about how a bill is formed. And when we speak about unanimous consent, a bill that is of this high cadre, which is immigration, can it be passed through unanimous consent? We will be discussing in detail, but a little brief about how bills get formed and how they pass. I need little input from you because you have extensive experience there.
Okay, so I'll go through the base process, which is for even smaller bills. This is a very big bill, but smaller bills also. There's the Speaker of the House, and then there are committees, Immigration Committee or Finance Committee. All different types of committees are there in the House of Representatives. So a bill that, let's say, a party or a Speaker of the House or anybody wants to introduce, first goes to the House committee, is debated, and then if it passes the committee, that is, it needs to have a majority vote. We live in a democracy, so it's all works on the basis of votes.
Sorry.
Hello?
Yeah, sorry,
Yes.
sorry. Yeah.
Okay, so it passes the House, then the next step is it's brought to the floor of the House, where then there is a general vote. At this point in time, it needs 217 votes in the House of Representatives to pass the House. Then next it goes to the Senate. The Senate has to decide whether to take it up or not. That decision lies with the leader, majority leader. It's called majority leader, who at this point is Mitch McConnell. And it goes to Mitch McConnell. He decides whether to take up the bill or not. When they decide to take up the bill, then they will send it to the Judiciary Committee, in this case, which is over immigration. And then it will be debated, different amendments introduced, and then you will have a vote. If the Judiciary Committee passes it, then it will go to, just like in the House, it will go to the full Senate. And in the full Senate, it will pass. Now, there is a different rule in the Senate. In an immigration or subjects like this, they call cloture. In cloture is not, even though there are 100 senators, 51 senators cannot pass it. It requires 60 senators to pass the Senate. Okay, so now there is a bill from Senate and there is a bill from the House. Then it goes to, if they are close, if they are very different, then nothing happens. If they are close and it is, let's say, thought, or the people decide, the legislators decide that it could be taken to a conference committee of the Senate and the House, then it goes to the committee, then this conference committee, and then they debate there, compromise. You know, it's all, Washington, D.C. is an art of compromise. And then when it's compromised, they also get signals from the White House, whether the president will support it, well, he'll sign it, or whether he'll veto it. If he vetoes it, then it requires 2/3 of the House and 2/3 of the Senate to override his veto. So there's always, that means the Speaker of the House as well as the majority leader are looking for signals from the White House as to what they will pass. You know, some examples are some really big, huge bills have passed on this COVID in the last 4 months, on PPP, on CARE Act 1, CARE Act 2. So they all go through the same process. Okay, and again, Washington, D.C. is a place for debate and deliberation. Also, I would like to add something to you, to your viewers. They should know that United States Senate is called, for the last 200 years, since it became a Senate, more than 200 years, 230 some years, is the most deliberative body on the face of this earth. senators get elected for 6 years, not like House members just for 2 years. And there's a reason for that. They want a lot more stability and a lot of deliberations in the Senate. So there is a lot of debate that goes on in the Senate before it passes. And that's why they have even set up the rules different than a democratic election, where the 51 can make it past the Senate, 60 cloture rule. And immigration is an extremely tough subject. That's why since 1986, and 1986, why it passed, President Reagan was a master of compromise. He worked very, very closely with Democrats, Tip O'Neill, Speaker of the House, to get something through. And that's why the last immigration bill that passed was 1986. After that, any attempts that have been made to pass any immigration bill have failed.
Okay. Thank you for a huge description there, enlightening the audience. And of course, we are not experts, and we have never been, we have never done such a huge research by ourselves, knowing the whole process and how the immigrant community has been taught.
Just now, I will just add to this. I have been involved in, let's call about 4 serious bills that have passed the House and the Senate, and that became law.
Thank you so much for that. We understand. And Shaliji, of course, you were involved in a couple of bills, and there was one bill way back, I think in 2013 or 15, S744. You were involved for that. You were fighting against that. You are against that bill, right? And
well, there were certain provisions in the bill.
Right. No. Let me finish my question. So I want you to answer there. So apparently, the immigrant community was somewhat disturbed by the fact that the bill S744 also had a provision for giving EADs for the green card backlog. Were you aware of that?
No,
because you objected to that bill, and of course you got into this immigration advocacy in 2017. But I think that was a bill way back in 2013 or 15. I am not clear there. And that bill was objected. We could have some fairer chances of our survival with that bill, though.
You see, the IAD and EAD and I-140 and all that thing you brought to my attention just very recently.
Yes.
But the fact really here there is, most often, Indian government, Indian embassy approaches us to garner support in the Congress for certain bills, certain actions, okay?
Right.
Now, the biggest problem as presented to us on 7444
S744, yes.
L1. There were like something like a 500,000 or million people on L1 who were going to be restricted, and Indian government was going to lose revenue of close to $25 billion a year, as well as, you see, so this was a very big community effort. I'm sure you have heard of FIA, Federation of India Association,
right? Yep.
So at that time, the Federation of India Association chairman, Ramesh Patel, okay, he was very seriously involved in it. And so as a result of all this,
apparently looks like they're saying we cannot hear. I would like to check with my team, Shaliji, before I think it was said 12 minutes back. Okay, no, probably they can hear now. Sorry, because we've been talking, it's been, I see some messages coming in, says cannot hear, but looks like now they're able to hear. Anyways, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, so I was just describing the situation with these 744. And so, there was a lot written on it. In fact, 744 was still active when Modi became the prime minister in 2014. And the first time he came and met with, as a prime minister, when he came and he met with President Obama in 2014. So he had a conversation with him to stop that or don't take that particular action on the 744. And so that, again, Government of India,
So
Federation of India, and all the people are L1 visa holders. So I don't even know what the H1B at that point was. The issue
that's
that was
where,
brought.
Chalabji, I would like to tell you now, there has been anguish in the community saying Mr. Shalab Kumar blocked a bill that had our prospects to get an EAD. The lobbying that the Indian government has done till date, the way it has worked, the way NASCOM has worked, it has not benefited the green card backlogged people, although it has benefited the H1B hirings. The companies who have hired H1Bs or the people who have brought in these L1s, intra-company transfers. Apparently, what has happened because of all this nexus, the real people, the H1B people who are in the long wait for many years, for decades, were deprived of their fair share of green cards. Imagine somebody who came in 2001, 2004, 2008 would have been a citizen by now, would have been voting for president's election this year. Apparently could not happen because what was done was when a L1 visa comes in, these people usually get their green cards in 6 months' time. The heavy misuse of L1, A, B, C categories, one. The another abuse that has happened is the EB1 category, misuse of managers, which has brought into the country. I am very pained to tell you, today there are engineers who have engineer degrees, okay, who are on EB2 status or EB3 category status here in the country. They are waiting in the line for last 15, 20 years for their green cards. But apparently, if there is a person back outside the country, outside United States of India, and he has just 1 year of experience as an international manager, whatsoever their educational qualification be, they may be commerce graduates or they may be whatever graduates, not even engineering graduates. These people, when they come and land in this country, after working 1 year outside the USA, when they land here, these people get their green cards in 6 months' time minimum because they are qualified under EB1 category. There was such a humongous misuse that has happened because of this, that the real talent who has been slogging day in, day out as developers, as programmer analysts, as architects, these are the designations these qualified engineers get here in this industry, they don't get their green cards. This is a very sorry state. I'm letting you know today, now that I'm talking to you, very contentious.
Let me address one point with you. And I often hear this in the halls of Congress. Why there is a unanimity on DACA? Why all DACA people, actually you were there at one time with Senator Rand Paul in
Yes.
California,
Absolutely.
when he made a gesture, hey, your voice is so small, and look at what DACA does. There is a unanimity in the approach. You get only one message, one and only one message on DACA, okay? And then it makes sense. What the Indian and Hindu American community in general should do. You see, there might be different interests for L1, there might be different interests for medical, there might be different interests for H1B, there might be different interests for this I-140 EAD, all these different interests. All these organizations, all these groups, they should get together, form a unified front. And on the unified front, not everybody gets all what they want. There is always, that's why we live in a democracy.
Right.
And whatever a committee or a body or board of governors or whatever you call it, they decide this is what the approach should be. And then even the ones some people don't like, but they have to agree to follow the whatever is decided by the community as a whole. Then it's not like, I mean, I'm going to go back a little bit because you're going to tell a little bit of my background as well. Right. Why was the Britishers able to rule India for 200 years? 200, 300 princely states fighting with each other until Mahatma Gandhi comes and unites them all.
We understand that, Shalabji, that of course there was differences were created.
Like, for example, you're saying over there about the H1B or L1, the way it was presented on L1 might have been a lot worse hit in 2013.
So you saved them and we got killed there. Anyways, because you were not aware of this issue that you got to know in 2017. To my viewers, all of you who are watching live right now, I'm talking to Mr. Shalabh Kumar. Of course, I will bring in K.O. Anderson after I introduce Shalabh Kumar, and I will tell him why is he also sitting there. Well, Mr. Shalabh Kumar is well known by all of you by one good reason or few bad reasons, as you have created in your mind, as you have been fed with. Maybe, maybe not. So now I will read a little introduction about this man who's sitting here. Then you should be able to understand why is he sitting here and why am I talking to him about these bills. And of course, I will be talking to him about the executive order by the president. Mr. Shalabh Kumar, his history is, he's a son of a freedom fighter mother who was an ardent devotee of Mahatma Gandhi's principle. And she was even jailed in the freedom movement. He is a person who follows truth in a way that when he was in his college, he fought for many things as a union leader there and got the things done. He came to United States of America. About that story and everything I'll read now. First of all, Mr. Shalabh Kumar, as he has given me his introduction, I'm going to read it. He says, there is no personal dog in the fight and no personal benefit for him. He is not going to occupy any office seat. As you know, he is not contesting elections as well. SK he is an inventor of electronic products, created tens of new industries and holds 40 patents in his name. Mr. Shalabh Kumar migrated to US in 1969. He got MSEE from IIT Chicago in record 9 months. He founded AVG with invention of PLS for manufacturing automobiles in 1975. New industry got created. He privately held group of companies owned by Kumar family, employing thousands of US employees across the country. And mind you, he has very less people on H1B with him. He hires mostly Americans, US citizens. No IT work, no government work, only sells to Fortune 1000 plants in US and worldwide. 99% among 5,000 electronic products it sells are made in USA. That's his company. Less than 0.2%, that is less than 2% of its 0.2% of his workforce has anything to do with H1B or green cards. Kumar family is one of the biggest donors to charities, if not the biggest among Indian Americans, provides a 660,000 square feet office banquet facility called Rana Reagan Center, free of cost to community in Chicago. Mr. Shalabh Kumar inherits the political activism from his mother, Satyavati, ardent follower of Mahatma Gandhi, marched with him, went to British jails with him, and never had any position in the government. Widely known for successfully championing cut-off foreign aid to Pakistan, stopping US gifts of F-16 to Pakistan, overturning laws that stopped sale of US advanced arms to India, LNG to India, ending Modi visa ban, shifting US foreign policy in support of India through Congress and through President Trump. Indian government always turns to Shalabh Kumar when they need something from Congress or POTUS. As a political donor, Kumar family has contributed 22 million in last 10 years, all for the causes important to Hindu and Indian Americans. In last 3 years, Kumar family has held more than 100 meetings with legislators, senators, congressmen, White House policy advisors, White House PD, White House OPL, Stephen Miller, Mark Short, Ivanka Trump, Ronna McDaniels, Kellyanne Conway, Steve Bannon, Secretaries Mnuchin and Ross, White House companies General Kelly, Mark Meadows, Senator Portman, Mitch McConnell, Perdue, Tillis, Cotton, Ron Johnson, Risch, Sullivan, Toomey, Bond, Rand Paul, Lindsey Graham, dozens of congressmen, and lastly, Jared Kushner and President Trump himself to promote the interest of green card backlog elimination and DALCA in the process. Kumar family has spent almost $1 million to promote these policies altogether. The number one challenge in the fight is lack of those seeks to solve the problem, which has now gone for over 15 years with no end to this site. This is the introduction Mr. Shalabh Kumar has shared with me, and I have read it. To some extent, I would agree at many major points there. And to some extent, I would like to tell you my history of associating with Mr. Shalabh Kumar and how I ran into this advocacy for green card backlog. It was in 2018, February, that I first met Mr. Shalabh Kumar in one of the events where he was promoting somebody for a congressional election. And that day, he saw me because I did speak about immigration advocacy. I spoke about the green card backlog and how we have been undergoing the pain. Mr. Shalabh Kumar gave me a straight offer to speak to him, gave me his cell phone number, and said, talk to me about this green card backlog issue. Out of the blue, a person who had come to promote a congressional candidate who was aspiring to, fight the congressional seat, his attention was diverted. That was the day when I got in touch with him. And after a few days, I got a call from him when he said, we are going to meet Senator Rand Paul about this immigration advocacy, about the green card backlog. Would you like to join us in California? I stay in New Jersey. And yes, I flew all the way to join Mr. Kumar, and we met Senator Rand Paul in one of the fundraising events, though, of course. I was a guest there. And what Mr. Shalabh Kumar said right now was the same thing Mr. Rand Paul said, that we support immigration efforts, the advocacy efforts, we support the legal immigrants, we want the legal immigrants to come to this country, but your voice is too less because you never raise your concern in unison. Look at DACA, how they are vocal about their cause, but we barely see the H-1B holders who are in the green card backlog to fight for their cause. And that was a real challenge and issue. We could understand that. And then we started to do some rallies altogether. But the rallies that we did together did not have much effect. I mean, we did have many senators and congressmen joining in us, but then the rallies that we did, we could not muster more than 1,500 people in any of the rallies. Had it been 10,000 or 15,000 or 20,000 people in those rallies, we would have been heard very clearly about it. That was the story about the advocacy and how the rallies went in. Mr. Shalabh Kumar was part of them. Most of the rallies he did arrange, and we did not pay even a single penny for them. That was true. That is true. I understand. I know this man for sure. But we had an issue addressing that Mr. Shalabh Kumar was always saying that S386 does not have a future. Mr. Shalabh Kumar always said unanimous consent is not the way to get S386 passed. And we had severe fights with him on that. That why are you not saying the right words? What we want to hear, that this bill has to pass. S386 bill is the only solution we have to clear this green card backlog, that is removing the per country limit. Then why can you not support S386? On that, I will ask him a question now, again in front of you all. Why and what he says about S386. Mr. Kumar, I will ask you, but yes, before that, Keo, about you, what is your role with RSC? Just to introduce to my audience.
I'm the executive director of RHC. I've known Shali Kumar for several years now, like you. I'm also the head of government relations. You're talking about some of these meetings with Senator Rand Paul. I'm the one, along with Shali, a lot of the time, sitting in on these meetings, working through the legislative process. We worked extensively with Senator Rand Paul on his Believe Act that you may or may not be aware of, which I'm sure we may hit on that a little bit in this conversation. So the legislative meetings, pumping these policies through, pushing this agenda for DACA children, for the green card people stuck in this green card backlog. That's what I'm doing on a daily basis, whether it's on a Zoom call, whether it's on the phone, whether it's in person. I spend every other week in Washington, D.C. Even now, despite COVID, we are still there pounding the pavement every week for these people, for anyone that's stuck in a backlog, for all the DACA children in the U.S. So anyone that's wrapped up in this, that's who we're fighting on behalf, and that's what my role with the RHC, amongst other things.
Okay, thank you so much. So, Mr. Kumar, we will come to the answer about S386. And of course, people are waiting to, there are a lot of comments that have come about I-140 EADs, as you tweeted, saying that you wholeheartedly support the idea of permanent EAD, or say I-140 EAD that can be transitioned into a permanent EAD that includes the provision for DACA kids, legal dreamer kids. And thank you for acknowledging my name there, saying that great idea from Jyotsna, or Jyotsna Can as the handle I have on Twitter. Yes, my audience, I have been running behind Mr. Shalabh Kumar for last 2 years, ever since I met him, that Mr. Kumar, please help us get EADs first. Employment authorization document for all those who have got I-140s approved. If not all, at least who have been in this wait for last 5 years having their I-140s approved. Let us have our EADs approved. Get us EADs. We don't know the future of the bills. At least the EADs will give us the freedom to move around in and out of the country to see our ailing or dying parents, or to attend some ceremonies in India and see our parents or our family or peers or whatever. And secondly, we will be having a freedom to change our employers. Not just that, to all the people who understand what's happening in the country, to all the people who hate H1Bs per se, saying they're low wage paid people and they're, because of them, the US citizens are losing jobs. For them also, if EADs are given to people, to these, H1B backlog community, they will be having freedom to open businesses, invest in the country and generate more jobs. Also, they will change employers and will not be stuck into multi-party, many-layer system of consulting. And that will bring the rate correction to the market. It is not a harm to anyone if we get our EADs. We'll come to that. But first, S386. What is the problem? Why is it failing again and again? It was HR 1044, then the name change, and many other names have changed since last 10, 12 years. There is an esteemed organization doing ardent efforts, real efforts, good efforts for this, but it's not getting any success. Sir, I need your inputs on that.
Okay, first of all, in front of your audience, I want to make something very, very clear. Ever since this issue of green card backlog and then subsequently DALCA kids got brought to my attention, and we started working on it, I say the green card backlog is insane, inhuman, is really a huge problem. I'm a U.S. citizen. Yes, that's my Karam Bhumi, but my Janam Bhumi is still Bharat. So, to have the people from Bharat suffer on account of this is a tragedy. So there's no question the green card backlog is a huge problem. And DALCA on top of that, when I was introduced to like 15 or 20 kids, we did some shooting there in Washington, D.C. So hearing their stories from
you recorded the videos, not shooting them.
Your show,
the words get
and
okay.
and all that. So it brings tears to your eyes as to what's going on. So as far as S386 or any of these bills are concerned, I've always said it's a step in the right direction. And then on top of that, but the way people have gone about doing it is not so wise. Let's just put it this way: it's just not so wise. You can't turn back the legislative history of the United States for the last 240 years. You just can't. The bill became even a lot better with Senator Durbin when he introduced the DALCA concept into it. He expanded it a little bit. So the relief got more and more. on that. So as far as the 386, with the Durbin amendments are concerned, that became a pretty good bill. Now, I don't know if you recall from 2018, when we were with Senator Rand Paul, he kept on saying it needs to be a bipartisan thing. Why
Absolutely.
don't you go, Dick Durbin, because I'm from Illinois, why don't you
Right.
go to Dick Durbin, and you got a huge Indian American population, almost like 250,000 in Illinois, and persuade him to join Rand Paul on the bill, and then it will be a lot easier to pass. So once again, the bill, particularly with the amendments and all that, is a very good bill. And if there's a way to pass that, it should. One of the problems with this thing comes in from this point of view, why there is so much opposition, why opposition will come. Okay, the opposition comes from like Iranian people or from smaller countries. They think they're going to get hurt, and then they want to put in some amendment to that effect. Nurses started to come in. Philippine people started to talk about it, and so there's always different objections. But it's a lot easier for 60 senators to agree and not have to fight all the other 40. Okay, so it's a lot easier to do that. Now, if the approach was going to be taken, I see that op-ed from Senator Rick Scott, his first two lines say what? I mean, we're trying to change America's history by passing such a big bill by unanimous consent. And he's right. I mean, that's a huge piece of legislation. And I'm sure your audience will agree that it's a lot easier to get 60 votes than 100 votes.
Well, we understand that it is very tough to not have any objection from a group of 100 senators. One after another is lined up to object. How many more rallies can we do? How many more, opposition meetings can be done against a particular senator? One of the elite group who's doing the advocacy for this green card backlog has actually called many senators as racist, derogatory words against them. Mind you, I am personally letting you know that the bigger chunk of the immigrant community who are in the green card backlog, to all the audience, we do not support the words like racist, like some other words which relate to any senators in a way which are derogatory. No, we respect them as they are on a high profile position. We are not there to insult any person who's holding an office in the United States of America. Calling anybody racist repeatedly, one after other, how many people will you call racist? It's not going to solve our problem. Probably the hatred of people against us, about the general American people against the immigrant community, may increase because you are labeling everybody as racist, which could be a real trouble for the immigrant community who are in the green card backlog. So
all
please,
the way from the left as well as right. On one hand, you could call Dick Durbin a racist, and the other hand, you can call Tom Cotton a racist or Rick Scott a racist. There's no question. You have made a very good point. Right now, the whole issue of legal immigration is not a subject matter which Americans in general pay attention to. Okay, there's not a unified voice. If there was a unified voice, they will first of all immediately take care of DALCA because it's so inhuman. So they'll take care of DALCA. All DACA people will come out there and support DALCA. What is this craziness that you have to be illegal to get DACA benefits?
Yeah, but the legal dreamer kids, as you said, DALCA is not getting anything.
Right. So
it can't become illegal even.
But that will arouse a lot of favorable public opinion. People in general, Americans don't quite understand what they don't even, when you tell them, I mean, so many congressmen, so many senators and public policy people, when you go tell them there's a backlog for 50 years or 100 years, they can't believe it. It's impossible. How could that be possible? They just think over there it should be like 1 year or 2 years. When on April 20th, I described personally to almost like a 25-minute meeting with president, and it was on the total subject of Dalka. It was in Mar-a-Lago. So I
April
bring
20th of 2018?
no, of 2018.
2018, okay.
Yeah, April. So that was a direct conversation with the president on Dalka. So we were talking about Dalka, myself and my daughter. We were talking about Dalka, and we asked, how long do you think the wait is for this green card backlog? You know what the president thought? If he said 2 years, it'll be too long. And when they hear 50 years, 100 years, it's atrocious. There's no question about it. But the way to go about it, doing it, needs to be changed in many ways. I should also tell you, see, it's pretty soon right now on this path, you're gonna create so many enemies. Senator Risch, from all the rural states in the United States who do not have suburban populations, who do not have big cities like Idaho, okay, Montana, Kansas has some, but there are going to be so many from rural states who have different needs, who are going to say, we need people on green card, we need to give unemployment based, but for different, not just IT, for different things. So all these people are going to come out if it looks like, if at any point in time, I mean, right now it's just not going to happen. But if it looks like, even if you were going that path, if it looks like it was going to pass, and by the way, just the passage in Senate doesn't do anything because the bill is so different at this point in time, House has to consider in entirety the bill again and pass that bill. All the Durbin amendments are not there in 1044.
So basically you're saying even if it passes the Senate, it goes back to the House for reconsideration and for again the bill goes to the vote?
complete new start, because the bill is so different, because Durbin has made, I mean, he has improved the bill, but he has made so many changes. Your viewers probably have heard, or some of them might have, Freedom Caucus. Mark Meadows, who was the chairman of Freedom Caucus, he is the chief of staff of the White House right now. So Freedom Caucus aligns itself with the U.S. tech workers, Numbers USA. So, you'll have a bunch of objections from that side. So, and then it has to go from the House, then it has to go to the conference committee. Mitch McConnell says he will not consider anything unless he gets a nod from the White House that, yes, they will consider it, that they will look at it favorably. They may not commit to it, but they will look at it favorably. So that's a very, very long process. And then when you came up with the idea, I mean, you might have mentioned this EAD I-140. I didn't even know what I-140 is, or what is one I-140 is, what's EAD is.
Okay,
so when you brought that,
I'll hold you back for 1 minute, and I will give this to my audience straight. My dear friends, ever since I got in touch with Mr. Shalabh Kumar, ever since we started doing rallies, and ever since we started seeing the response of the senators and the congressmen who came to our rallies and the people joining in, and ever since we got many failures in the passage of the bill, which was earlier HR 1044, and then it was renamed some other thing, and then now it is as S768, 7, I mean, there are different names, and then it is, of course, the version is S386. Ever since this all started happening, and I was very much involved into these rallies and advocacy efforts. I have sacrificed a lot of my personal time, family time, and everything. Of course, my jobs, many a times I've lost my jobs because of that, because I really, I'm in a backlog and I need the permanent solution. So it's like, okay, job baad mein ho jayegi, but I need this solution. If I have a green card, I'll be able to do a lot more better things. Ever since this all happened, I have been vocal, insisting again and again and again and again, telling Mr. Shalabh Kumar and anybody whom I meet, please help us get EADs. These EADs are employment authorization documents for people who have got approved I-140s, but we don't want them with compelling circumstances. The provision for I-140 EAD is even now there in the, in the law, in the USCIS, but that has compelling circumstances which will make us out of status immediately we go on EAD. We cannot take it. I have been insisting, please help us get an EAD that entitles us here to stay stably, permanently, without too many paroles, without any H-1B ownership, so that we can change jobs, pursue businesses, invest in the economy here. Hundreds and thousands of us are here in this country who are not buying homes just because we don't have trust in the system. And we want to call this country our home because our kids are now in middle school, high schools, going to colleges, passing out, and they're being equally getting kicked out of the country if they are legal dreamer kids or said Dalka kids because they're aging out. I have been telling Mr. Shalabh Kumar about this. He couldn't understand my language. And then we, of course, with the Republican Hindu Coalition doing the advocacy, they stepped out of the advocacy efforts a year back and said, okay, we don't have any stake. And a lot of opposition came from various organizations defaming RSC, Mr. Shalabh Kumar, the nexus he has with the IT server, everything. I will ask him that as well. And we also broke off on the note saying, Mr. Kumar, you're not listening to my request of getting EADs. Bills are not going anywhere. So let's drop it. And I left my fate. And I left the fate of other people as well. But that's when I again touched base with him. Of course, during that process, we did form a nonprofit by the name High Skilled Immigrants for America. I created this nonprofit along with my esteemed president, Mr. Dhiren Mehta, who himself is a person who has suffered because his daughter got aged out. While he got his green card, the daughter couldn't get the green card. She aged out. So he's the person genuinely involved into the legal dreamer kids advocacy, H4 kids advocacy for many, many years. He is the president of the organization doing advocacy. And we did send a letter to the president about asking for an I-140 EAD without compelling circumstances. But the letter that was sent was through our chairman, Dr. Sampath Shivangi. But nothing has happened until now. We were waiting to hear back on the EO. That's when again I reached out to Mr. Shalabh Kumar, because we believe in integrating our efforts together, whether it is Dr. Sampath Shivangi, the chairman of the nonprofit that we have, whether it is Mr. Shalabh Kumar or many other people who all have connections to the White House, to the president, to the powerful people. We want to reach out to you to get help from you all people. That's where I've been talking to Mr. Shalabh Kumar for quite some time. It's been more than a month, again and again, insisting about the same thing. Why don't you understand the concept of EAD? And then finally he got it. Now it's up to him. Now he'll tell what he heard and what he could understand from me. Shalabh ji, ab bataiye aap. Now you tell.
You talk so much over there, so raise the question. What exactly is the question now?
Raise the question is I-140 EAD. When did you got convinced finally from me about this concept of EAD? And how do you understand it now? And you
okay,
gave
see, because I saw that, this S-386, like I've taken the position again, particularly with the Senator Dick Durbin, it's a nice bill. It should be good, and it's not going anywhere. People are telling me that it's not going to go anywhere, and it's really a huge, big uphill battle. So again, looking for a solution, a creative solution. I thought when you I would say, I don't know whether you might have mentioned it to me, but it did not stick with me until you mentioned this I-140. When some of you say I-140, all these technical things don't make much sense to me. Okay, EAD, I didn't know what EAD stood for. Okay, so, but you finally sat me down and you said, okay, here, understand this. Okay, this may be a way out. Then I said, gee, that looks like it may be a way out. And particularly if they're given, our position at Republican Hindu Coalition, at RSC is this order EAD, that should be a permanent, no conditions.
We appreciate
Just
it.
The I understand it from this way, not the letters I-140 and all that. Whosoever has been approved for green card, they have gotten checked through their labor certification. They have approved, been approved, and everything has been cleared through the government says, okay, you're qualified to be a green card holder, and you're going to contribute to the American economy. And it's just because the backlog is there, you will not get a green card. And now you are slave to this employment authorization, which I also hear that people are getting more and more concerned about it. Every 3 years, you got to renew it. It may not happen, or something might go wrong. So this permanent EAD sounds like a much better solution. And on top of that, our position is DALCA should just get added to DACA, or whichever way. Just they should be treated better than DACA, but they should just get their green card right away. They should just get the green card, because every humane principle of life tells you
How
that
can they get a green card if the parents don't have it? What is the relevance? I mean, if we are kicked out of the country,
okay, see, but
unless we get an EAD.
no, EAD, that might be there, but as far as the kids are concerned, they don't have to worry. All the kids who came and who said the college, they're going to age out at 21, and we interface with so many of these kids, and so they will get a big relief. So it's not that, okay, over there is, we should look at just this or this or this or this. That's what I'm raising a point is there should be some, whether you lead it to somebody else leads it, and have a consensus. Understand everybody is not going to get everything they want. It's always like that. In legislation,
Understood.
You'll never get 100% of what you want.
Right.
Okay, so have a overall consensus in the community. Appoint a committee, appoint a board, and have a vote taken. Have like a plank, like a platform, whether it's a Democrat platform or a Republican platform, and have a platform. Have everybody agree to it, and then all they say, okay, we are going to march with one tune, like DACA. Then, in the meantime, you have the suggestion you have come up with, which is great, and the second is the bill. Move along the bill.
See, 100% agreed there. See, if S386 passes, we would be the happiest people. We don't want any other solution. That, as people would call I-140 EADs as a band-aid solution, or say permanent EADs as a band-aid solution. Agreed, 100%. We are looking for a bill to pass, but this is just not going anywhere. So many senators blocking it. What is the way out for that as well? I'll ask you. I'm having one caller right now, Mr. Kumar. So I'll take this caller now, and let me see who's that. Hello.
Hi, my name is Arjun, calling from Pennsylvania.
Hi, Arjun. Please put your question or whatever you're feeling about it. You might be watching us live, right?
Yeah. So you want me, tell my question?
Sure, please. Mr. Kumar.
Yeah.
It's hard to hear. You'll have to repeat it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Shalli Kumar. I'm watching your program. So it seems to be, we are doing effort for S386. Yes, everybody is doing their effort. I understand. But logically, if I see, I agree with you. In this situation, we have only like 2 months of Senator House calendar period. It seems impossible to pass that bill because it might need a lot of effort. I don't think so it can be passed in this Congress, and I don't know about the future. But at least if we get a I-140 EAD with some conditions, I'm not talking about the any kind of compelling conditions. So for example, people who has the I-140 approved at least 6 years, and they can able to apply for EAD. Not all I-140s, like I don't think so a lot of US tech workers or other people will agree every I-140 should get EAD, but at least with some condition. For example, either approved I-140 is already there for 5 years or 6 years, and then who has that, still their priority date is not current to apply a permanent green card, they should able to at least get an EAD. So people who has the valid I-140 from last 6 years or 7 years, they will get benefited and they'll get advanced parole. They can able to travel outside the country. So the majority of people may not have any concern because we are putting a 6 years clause. So US tech workers also might be agree with this one. That's
Arjun,
what my thoughts.
thank you for your question. That's what we've been talking about. Well, of course, the proposal went all out, as in, when we propose something, we say everybody gets it. Of course, there's a bargain that will come. So Mr. Kumar Arjun is saying, how about we get an EAD? We understand it's barely 2 months left for the Senate, calendar to work. And we don't see the bill S386 going anywhere. People are losing hope. Of course they are, because it's already a hold by a senator who has got directions from White House itself. So Senator Rick Scott himself has justified his stance, and I don't think he'll be moving. You do rallies, you abuse him, you use bad words for the people who are doing this. Stop doing it. It's not going to help. You are going to create hatred against Indians for that reason because of that. You cannot call any senator a racist. You're a guest in this country, okay? One, we came here. How do we use wrong words against anybody? We don't have to, please. We are educated. We can use some other words and show our discontent. Stop doing it. We can go in fair, just manner to request. So please don't do it. What has happened in Texas? People received hateful letters. Residents have filed a complaint. The letter, I will read it for you later, not right now, and you will know what I'm trying to say. But yes, sir, Arjun is also talking about EADs. If we can get freedom to move in and out, how soon and how best can we get it? Right now, we see the solution as EADs. And in fact, it's a brilliant idea by you, Mr. Shalabh Kumar, when you say propose a permanent EAD. And if President Trump is looking to execute an executive order, which is on the merit-based immigration, there is a very fair possibility that you might help us in getting a permanent EAD rather than I-140 terminology's EAD. How do you see the scope, sir?
Okay. First of all, again, this is a legislative process. I think Arjun has a very good question. And I think we are kind of
have to wait for some time.
You have to really understand how these people think.
Yeah.
How the senators think.
Right.
Okay. First of all, the senators, like Senator Grant, he just wants to hear.
Shalabji, there is a caller there. I'm sorry. I'll just take his call as well and club it together. Yes. May I know your name, please?
Yeah, my name is Rajesh.
Rajesh, please convey your message.
Yeah, so my question is something like similar to Arjun, but I want to add a point.
Yes.
That the executive order and this entire idea I-140 EAD, again, it's coming up as a concept, but it's an old concept. But how soon it's going to be up, going to get it? Also, at least can US tech workers can at least we add something like whose kids are getting aged out and whose I-140 is up to more than 5-6 years? Can at least get them orders to apply for EADs. At least their kids can get age logged out.
Okay.
So something like that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this question. And please keep watching us. I'm cutting the phone. Watch us the answer. Sir, Shalabji, ab bataiye.
Okay. First of all, for an executive order, there is no time limit. It doesn't matter whether there is an election. Doesn't matter President Trump wins or loses. Executive order is an executive order. He could, let's say if he is winning, certainly by November 3rd, he could issue an executive order. He could, if he wins, of course, he could issue the executive order anytime for the next 4 years.
Right.
If he loses, he could still issue an executive order until January 20th when Biden becomes president. Okay, so then Biden on a first day could issue an executive order. So it's like there is an executive order, there is no congressional action is necessary, so nobody's involved. So you kind of bypass all that.
So,
And this is
Shaliji,
well
what is
within.
the way out to get this EO
Okay,
out?
so I'm just explaining to you the process, okay?
All right.
And also, as far as the senators and all that are concerned, you're getting way ahead of yourself. Let's say if Senator Tom Cotton or Senator Lindsey Graham were to, because, Senator Rand Paul, the meeting with the president all the time, president always seeks counsel from his close friends who have been involved in this. They all say, yeah, it's a good idea. They're not going to understand whether it's a 5-year or 6-year. They're going to understand only concept. Concept is, United States government has approved you for a green card.
Yes.
Give them, since you have a backlog and Congress is trying to work through it, give them a permanent EAD so their lives are settled. One of the examples, what the argument we are using for this, there are 98,000 families, Indian families, that left in the last 3 years, moved to Canada or Australia. They moved out of the United States because of this problem.
Absolutely.
So therefore, this is a problem for U.S. economy as well. It's just it's a problem. It's a human problem and economic problem. It's just a big problem. So that's where you are getting all the arguments in favor of that. Then one thing I will also maybe first time on your show I will reveal to you. We have taken up Senator Rand Paul's advice. So the mission is, that's all I'm going to say. The mission is to get with Senator Durbin. Okay, it's the advice. So
Okay.
The mission is, no matter who the president is, get permanent EAD.
It will be
EO.
excellent if we get permanent EADs as you have suggested. I was speaking about I-140 EADs without compelling circumstances, but yours is a fairer proposition. If it is a EO, if it is an immigration reform, president can pass an any EO and permanent EADs will give us so much of respite. Sir, so many people have died. Of course, there would be a question as well. While people are in the wait for the green card, the primaries have died. Many people have died. I mean, there will be many clauses attached to the EADs being proposed. What happens to the family if we are giving a permanent EAD and the primary H-1B visa holder himself dies, I mean, when he comes on EAD and he dies, what happens?
See, Josna, who's that for to work out? Senators just give directions.
Right.
Or the chairman of the committees, they just give directions. Then it goes to legislative directors.
Right.
They work out the the details.
Sure. Shaliji, I'm having one more caller right now. I'll take this call. Hello, please share your name and please lower down the volume from behind first of all before asking your question. My voice is echoing. Yes. Sure, please. Hi, please share your name and the message or the question. Can you reduce the volume, please? I can hear my volume background sound, switch off the TV.
No,
Yeah.
Actually, I was listening Sahil Kumar what he's talking. So okay, I'm going to close that one. Okay.
Okay. I have another caller right now. Hello, please share your name and the question or the message. Hello. May I know who's speaking? Okay, this is a little confusing. Yeah, can I please know your name and ask the question?
Yeah, my name is Sanjeev Ranjan.
Yes, Sanjeev, tell me. You have any question to ask or you just want to listen to us?
No, I have questions because I want to tell him like what he's going to do for the aging out kids because my daughter is going to self-report on 21-year-old. She's going to turn on 21 on this November.
Very sorry to know.
So is there any possibility to protect her? Is there any possibility to
I will ask the question.
From 21 to 26 years. I was working very hard with.
No, Sanjeev, I got your question. So Shaliji, he has a question. His daughter is going to age out in November. What can be done? She'll turn 21. Another proposal says, how about aging out number increases from 21 to 26 also? I mean, you would think
No,
odds,
see, look, what we are actually is an easier ask. It's an easier ask to say to all Dalka kids to immediately give them green cards.
1 second. Yep. So Sanjeev, I was not able to hear you. Of course, Mr. Kumar is replying to that. See, the answer is, of course, getting EADs, and this EO may help there, So everything solves there. The aging out kids. In fact, he's proposing giving green cards directly to these aging out kids.
They are entitled to green cards. To me, they are entitled to. In
Shalaji,
my
that's
mind,
what now. How would it happen? Is President Trump willing to give green cards to these kids then? For the aging out kids?
That's what I'm saying is that's a much easier ask.
I understand that. So
it's much easier ask.
Sure. Now, if we were to do this advocacy full-fledged, and we just want minimum ask right now is EADs, okay, or say permanent EADs for President Trump to consider, reform, immigration reform before the elections happen. Do you see, if we come in thousands, of course it's COVID time, if we show up in thousands still near White House, will he hear us? Or we have a better approach, reaching out to some authoritarian senators, people like you, other influential people, leaders of our community participating in elections or not, and then reach out to them and seek support? What could be done to gain an ear from the White House?
Well, you see, unless you have a mass rally like DACA people have, like you mentioned, 10,000 people, 15,000 people, 20,000 people, they march up to this, that will make an impact that way. But it's really not, it's not really, the time is not there that much, and the president is too busy. I do want to have your viewers know solving this or having a very firm commitment on this, very firm, just like President or candidate Trump gave me a commitment in June of 2016 on cutting foreign aid to Pakistan,
right,
allowing advanced weapons. There was a handshake, and he kept that. So this time around, this EAD, DALCA, this is in our minds, and Keo could address that as well,
right,
is non-negotiable.
We appreciate, we want that kind of support.
That's what we are going with. It's non-negotiable.
Sure.
This has gone on for too long, and it's doable.
We should do it.
And so
1 second, Shaliji, I'll take this caller, and I have something to comment there. Please share your name and the question as well.
Hey, my name is Sid. I'm a H4 kid. I'm 18, and I've been following this on Twitter. I've become a bit more active on this issue. So I saw, you guys posted this on Twitter. I'm watching it on YouTube right now.
Right.
And I just want to ask Mr. Kumar. Obviously you're a Trump donor, and I want to know, how close are you with President Trump, and is it really likely that you can, possibly get some executive order, or I think the official term is a memorandum, where President Trump can just tell DHS to everyone who hasn't approved I-140 can file for I-45. Is that, I think George Bush did that in the past. Is that something that we have enough leverage to do? So that's kind of what my question is.
Thank you so much, Sid. You being 18 years old, have a very sensible approach. Nice question, and that's what we are fighting for here. Mr. Kumar will respond.
He should be a reporter. A White House reporter asking questions.
You got a compliment from Mr. Kumar. He says you should be a reporter at White House,
So anyway, it's the answer I will give you is best efforts. We are making best efforts. Yes, we have President's ear. We have Jared Kushner's ears. We
Very
have
nice.
Brian Jack, the political director. We have their ears, and legislative director inside the White House. You know, we have that ear. We also, when Mark Meadows was simply a Congress chairman of the Freedom Caucus, so we had lots and lots of meetings with him on different contexts. So you know him fairly well as well. So you know, it's a best effort thing. It's not, you know, you never know what's happening in the United States from now till November 3rd. Maybe
Right.
there is like a war starting, or whatever is happening. So nobody can guarantee anything.
But
we
still, you are
certainly
approaching there. It's a
making.
great thing. Thank you so much for your efforts, Shalabji, for becoming active again. I know you had taken sannyas from this immigration advocacy. Siddharth saying thank you for the question. I have another caller coming in. I'll take this call right now. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Hi. Please share your name and the message or the question.
Sarita Shiva.
Hi, Sarita.
Actually, my brother's wife is stuck in India for the immigrant visa. Actually, that was approved, but she couldn't get the visa interview appointment. So we have a question when we can get that embassy immigration.
Okay, Sarita, today is a different concept call though, but I will answer back to you on this, that a lot of embassies have started opening now. So they should immediately book the appointment at the consulate process has begun. So she'll be able to come back. Okay, all the best.
Yeah, I have another question.
Sure, please. Yes.
Yeah, I have approved by the I-140. So my son, he was in my GC processing initially. Now he is 18. So do we have any option for that in future? Right now he is not eligible. Right now once he became 18.
Eligible for what?
Green card. Maybe he will not come under my green card, right? Because he is not I haven't get a green card under before he's 18 years.
I understand you're losing hope and you're thinking in 3 years no magic can happen. So that's what we are talking about today. Sarita, watch us live there. Well, we are talking about getting EADs or permanent or green cards to aging out kids at least. That kind of provision Mr. Shalabh Kumar is talking about. So maybe he gets sooner than you is the proposal what Shalabh Kumarji is putting right now. And he's saying they're active in the White House doing advocacy right in the galleries of administration of the White House there. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. So to my viewers, of course, people are asking different questions. Of course, the scholar said my son will age out after 3 years. He's 18. I have my I-140 approved, but I don't see a hope. So what should be done? So that's what Mr. Kumar is here. To all the people about S386. Now, I will read the response. Okay, I'm getting a caller. And then I will read the response Mr. Rick Scott is giving to everybody these days. Senator Rick Scott, rather. Hi, please put your question and your name.
My name is Devapriya Kundu.
Hi, Devapriya.
Hi. So my question is, I'm hearing the conversation. I'm asking, like, is it possible, like few of our community members go and meet President Trump in White House and, explain looks like there is a, understanding issue overall, from our respective parts of our community. Is it something, Mr. He can arrange for us?
Okay. Thank you. I got your question. So this, my friend is asking, is there a possibility that the representatives of this green card backlog can go to the White House and represent? Of course, tough question. With President being very busy with the election process, Shalabji, what is your take there?
White House has suggested, and they are looking to invite 30 of the 2016 Hindu American leaders who were most active in 2016, who were two types. One, community type people. In elections, there's always votes and notes. So there are some who were provided the notes, some who provided the votes, some provided both. So there is a proposal there for have this group go to White House and have a
Wait for a minute,
meeting
please. Yeah.
meeting with the president and Jared Kushner for half an hour or so.
Shalabji,
All those
I was
people,
not part of it. Thank you for that. I understand that you want to take leaders. I'm not a voter in this country,
I didn't
but
say
I represent
no
the
yet.
masses. Can you take me? Open
I
question on the
didn't say that.
platform.
Okay, all I said is, now that meeting, if that meeting takes place, again, I will say if that's most likely it will take place. That so all those people have to be, and they will all take that position. They will. I would say half the time of that meeting, because that's a meeting for discussion of what does the Indian American, Hindu American community need at this time. There's like two major topics. One is this EAD and green card for DALCA, and the second is CAA. So that's our half and half time.
I'm offering to go with you and meet the President of the United States representing my community for sure. You decide.
Well, we'll see over there. This is when let it get all firmed up.
Okay, I have a caller right now. Well, I'll take this caller. Please share your name. And of course, before that, the question I'll ask you and you have to answer is, people are asking, a lot of messages have come. Is this EO a distraction to fail the bill S386? I will come back to you, but yes, I have this caller right now. Please, hello.
Hi, Josna. This is Gautam here.
Hi, Gautam, please.
Hi. So as Mr. Salab Kumar is like one of the influential person who is close to Mr. Trump, and he has also like accepted that after lead Irwin agreement, the bill has improved significantly. And based on all the aspects, if you review, the new bill does not impact the rest of the world. It solves like backlog problem. It also basically like removes the incentive from the outsourcing companies to bring H1B, more H1B. So it actually solves the US tech worker concerns also, because like there won't be anybody who is locked to an employer for a very long period. So they won't have an incentive to spend so much money to bring anybody on H1B. So based on the current situation, like and all these improvements, why can't Mr. Salab Kumar use his influence to have this permanent solution to get it passed in the like Senate and get it signed by the president, so that we don't have to worry about like again spending time on this bill in future, because like the just getting the EAD
See,
to solve the problem.
okay, I got your question there. What's your name once again?
My name is Gautam, and I have worked in US for 13 years.
Yes, Gautam, agreed. And I'm in this country for last 14 years as well. And I want this bill S386 passed. Of course, it is the best version right now, the way it has come. Again, opponents are there. Before Shalab Kumarji answers to this, I will answer one thing. I will tell you. Okay, for everybody's information, what I'm going to tell you and reveal you is I have spoken to people from US tech workers as well. People who have led this campaign, people who have sat with president, fighting against the Tennessee Valley authorities, firing off, the US workers there. And they were, of course, angry. And of course, how it happened after that is no federal client is hiring H1Bs now. I am in touch with US tech workers as well. And of course, their leaders as well. And what I got from them was, this is the opposition I'm telling you, to everybody who's hearing me right now, to all the people who are hearing right now. I have spoken to the leaders of, US tech worker organization or progressives for American reforms or whatever name you call it. They have abruptly objected to the bill S386, saying that this bill will really create problems from for people from other countries, where I was into argument. Of course, I was trying to justify my stand, and they said it will take 17 years for somebody from another country to come on, if the bill passes S386. And I had to argue a lot. And I, of course, don't know how that facts they have with them and how they're presenting, saying it take 17 years for somebody from outside country, if they're not Indian, to get the green cards if this bill S386 passes. The lobby of US tech workers, the people who are the voters, is strong, of course. You must realize the fact. The lobby is strong because it's the election year as well. And even if not, it is the American workers who are If they are saying anything, it is reaching the White House straight. If Senator Rick Scott is commenting this, if somebody else is commenting this, or it is coming from the White House, you must understand, I am constantly working equally at the backside, speaking to these people from opposition as well to understand what is your concern, what is the problem. Let's sit back and solve it together. I have spoken to Mr. Shalabh Kumar about this as well and raised the concern. Okay, I had a talk with, uh, the main person who's leading the organization. And sir, what should we do now? Because there's an opposition for S386. What is the way out? So Shalabh Kumarji probably may take a lead as well to talk about, or solve this issue together with us, because I'm not leaving any stone unturned to solve this problem. Whether we talk to our opponents or we don't, whether we talk to the president's advisors or to people like him. So S386 and the EAD is not a distraction for S386. I really badly want it as well, but it's not solving because the lobby is too strong against us. Shalabji, please answer back to this question of distraction that is being talked about. My friend, I hope you got little insight from me as well.
Okay. Now, as far as I think there are two issues. First of all,
yeah. 1 second, Mr. Kumar is replying. Wait. Yeah, okay. Sir.
I would like to comment on, I think your idea of talking to the U.S. tech workers is a brilliant idea, just like your EAD idea. It's a great idea. And, like I've told you, I'm going to say that publicly, it's if they are true to what they're telling you, that will go a long ways in getting the EAD issued. So that's so again, what we don't have to talk too much into detail about that.
We will not talk much, but I'm saying we are reaching out to every angle, every nook and corner. They're trying to solve this problem. We need to know the point of our opponents as well.
It's a good idea to take that, and so that definitely neutralizes somewhat Stephen Miller. Okay, Stephen Miller is a friend also. Known him for a long time. He was there at the New Jersey rally in 2016, right along with the president or candidate at that time. So, but he's got his own views. So if U.S. tech workers signs on to this, and his opposition decreases significantly. Okay, now with respect to distraction, I think you yourself has coined the phrase parallel.
Absolutely.
This is not to distract from 386. If I could give you on the 386 side, I'm going to give you and your viewers, I'll repeat that advice. Have a community board of governors or trustees or whatever formed, and have a unified, so that people are not coming from left and right. I mean, in a democratic society, you're going to have all different views. Right. So if you can have a consensus agreed by not 100%, by 50%, 51%, that's how democracy works. And then everybody has to follow that. That will be the right step. In the meantime, I'll give you another idea. Okay, you and I have not talked about.
All right.
Even on this unanimous consent thing, I'll give you another idea. Okay. Get 50, 60, 70 senators to write to say, I am for S386 as amended by Dick Durbin.
Okay.
Let them, so then the total number, if let's say it starts out at 60, right now, it's like all the senators, they not become senators for nothing. I mean, you become a state assembly, then you become a congressman, then you go become a senator. So these are very high level people. They are presidents come out of senators. All these people who are senators. Biden was a senator. Obama was a senator. John F. Kennedy was a senator. So these are really high level people. Okay, so they know that there's going to be 30 other people besides Rick Scott, who are going to say, raise objection to the passage on a unanimous consent, because they will say it's, even if they may agree with it, the content, they will say it's fundamentally wrong. You are sabotaging democracy. That's what they're going to say. So, but if there are more and more and more of those people, they say, we have looked at it, we have studied it, my legislative director has studied it, and I'm for it. If more
70
and more
senators
people,
to write letter to Rick Scott?
huh?
70 senators to write a letter to Rick Scott,
No,
or
no,
just
no. Just public statement.
public statement? Okay. One
Public
second, Chalaji.
statement.
I'll take
Then
one more
you have,
caller right now.
then a pressure will build on all those
1 second, hold for a minute. Yeah.
who hesitate. I mean,
Yes.
without telling you, you name some of the people from rural states.
Right. So,
Senator,
Chalaji, I have another question as well. See, this is what, okay, seeking support from 70 odd senators, getting a letter and saying, please pass. Another thing, how about it moves to House Judiciary Committee and goes through that route of vote
What's
rather
that?
than unanimous consent? Can it not be done?
What's that?
I mean, it goes through a normal vote.
Yeah, normal vote. You see, the time for it during the,
It's too late.
2 months is too little. Okay, for anybody to focus on this, on the normal process. The only thing what it should be done is bipartisan. Both sides, both people commit, record their statements. I'm for it. I'm for it. Okay, then their opponents, if they run the next time, their opponents can fight with them and say, okay, hey, you said that on the statement. Why did you change your mind?
Right.
So at least at this point in time, you could get, let's say the Believe Act, for example, the Believe Act. And the Believe Act, because that just multiplies 386. So if Senator Durbin puts it in writing,
okay, how
I
about
agree.
one suggestion there? We speak about Believe Act, and we knew that you were supposed to, you were proposing increasing the number of green cards in this employment-based category, right?
Because it eliminates the objections from who
We
is going to
understand.
object now.
No, we
Iranians,
understand.
how are they
How
going to
about-
object? How anybody's going to object?
No.
Everybody's getting a green card.
My
in
take is
1
not
year.
that, sir. What I'm saying is, increase in this present bill. Now, so many modifications are coming. Can we not put this clause of increasing some numbers as well?
Sure, name, you could call it whatever name. It's the same,
Right.
it's the provision. What the Believe Act is simply this. Okay, it's S386 with the essential amendment is this. Don't multiply the number of 140,000 to 2 by 2, 280,000. Okay, then don't count dependents in it.
Absolutely. That's we have placed in our petition
Okay,
as well.
so then that number becomes almost close to 400,000.
Right.
And then that clears the whole backlog in 2 years to 3 years.
But one thing is there, as the opponents say, they say that the Republican senators do not agree to this concept of increasing the green card numbers for the employment-based category. Is it true?
You see, that's again, it's the 60 rule. You need is 60, because I'm sure I can tell you that right now, and knowing all these senators, would all the senators agree to this? Nope. But let's say 10, 15, 20 senators disagree. Let them disagree.
Right.
Okay. But if the vast majority of them, they say, yes, that we are for it, then it'll go.
Okay. So we understand. So now we understand this, that we have barely 2 months left for the Senate to work. And with Rick Scott's objection coming in, it becomes really little tough. I would like to read out something which Senator Rick Scott has been responding to everyone who reached out to him. To all the audience who have not seen the reply from Senator Rick Scott about unblocking S386, then try to assess the situation with common sense. Okay? Don't get fooled into a trap. Don't. Listen first. So this is an example that the Senator Rick Scott emailed back to a person who was advocating for unblocking S386. Dear Dash, thank you for contacting me. I'm reading it to all of you. Okay, please read. Please understand what I'm trying to say. It's a reply from Senator Rick Scott where the request was placed to unblock Bill S386. Shalabh ji, aapki knowledge ke liye bhi. Dear Dash, thank you contacting me regarding the Fairness for High Skilled Immigrant Act of 2019 S386/HR 1044. I appreciate the opportunity to respond. I know many of my Senate colleagues have spent years working on this measure, and I appreciate this hard work on it. I also know that this measure will directly impact both citizens and immigrants, and I certainly understand why so many want to see it passed as quickly as possible. However, I have heard from individuals across our nation who have serious concern with the current proposal. I believe these concerns have merit, which is why I am working with Senator Mike Lee, the sponsor of the bill, to address these concerns quickly. I want to make sure that this bill helps people but doesn't disproportionately limit people emigrating from Latin America and other nationalities that invest and grow our state economy and hire Floridans. I also believe any changes to solve the employment-based visa backlog should help those who are escaping communist China's crackdown on freedom in Taiwan and Hong Kong. I also have heard that the White House on this measure. I also have heard from the White House on this measure. Given the complexities of the bill and the impact it could have on a number of areas in our immigration law, the administration requested more time to review the text. It is my hope that the Senate can pass something that will ultimately be signed into law by President. If something passes the Senate and doesn't have the support of the White House, this will not become a law. Again, thank you for contacting me regarding the Fairness of High Skilled Immigrants Act. I am so proud that Florida is a diverse melting pot where so many people from across the globe call the Sunshine State home. I know how critical it is when we have a legal immigration system that is fair and allows people from all corners of the world to come here to live their version of the American dream. I am proud to represent every citizen in Florida, and I appreciate the time you took to provide your position on this matter. My dear friends, Senator Rick Scott came into an op-ed. This is his op-ed, where he has similarly written the same thing, addressing the green card backlog community, who is telling Senator Rick Scott to unblock S386 bill. Our last hope, this hope that we are living on for last 13 years. Because the content of the bill has more so remained on the same lines of removing the per country cap, which nobody wants to give a proper ear to us in Senate right now. And it is a sorry state. We came this far. We got it approved. If the bill passed in House, and we feel so sorry. But I'm sorry. I'm loud today. I'm frustrated equally because I have lived the hell on this status, which I have, waiting for the green card. Problem is, unanimous consent was the worst thing to do, considering everything. We wasted so many months. Had it come through a normal voting procedure, we would have still won it. Shalabh, what is your take on that, please?
On
Rick Scott's message, first of all.
Okay, I feel your pain, Josna, and of so many others in your position. We have talked many times. Sometimes we have late night conversations.
You know me. I've spoken to you at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock also, at 1 a.m., talking about immigration.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. S386, along with, let's say, Durbin amendments and maybe a few amendments from here and there, would have passed if it came through the normal process of Judiciary Committee. I mean, that's just I've been told this by so many senators, that was the right way to go. And not everybody is going to agree to that, but all you need is 60.
True.
And that would have happened. But it's kind of a little as far as this particular.
One quick thing is, Shalabh, I understand 60, 100 now, everything. with Senator Rick Scott blocking it with this message, how do you see? Will he
No,
remove
that's
his
the
hold?
Josna, you have been around. You should be, or maybe you should be a lot more around these politicians. This is just political talk. It's simply political talk. Okay, so you gotta just you should hear all the campaign speeches of President Trump on one side and Vice President Biden on the other side. So
We are hearing everything. We are given, we are shown mangoes there. They're showing us the booty there. The presidential candidate Joe Biden has said within 100 days he is going to solve the green card backlog issue as soon as he becomes the president.
But Josna, also pay attention to that.
Right.
And once again, I've given you a hint on this. We want to have that also nailed down. If you read through the entire text of what Biden has written,
right,
he's taking care of only PhDs in STEM.
Oh. No, what happens to us 600,000 of us who are already rotting?
That's what he's committed to. He also needs to commit to not just limit it to
wow. Okay.
STEM PhDs. Okay, so again, there is at this point in time, in the next 60 days or till the election time, there is a lot of leverage. It's time to get the leverage from both bipartisan, from the Democrat side and from the Republican side.
But for what?
That this is what they will agree to. Like Biden, let's say first 100 days, I'll take care of this. Write down exactly how you're going to take care of it. Are you going to limit it to, you're not going to take care of it if all you're going to do is give green cards to PhDs who have PhDs in STEM. How is that going to help? So that'll help a few people only, but not. So we got to have a very definitive statement from both sides. And I will tell you this, there are some very intelligent people, essentially, I will say my counterparts on the Democrat side, who are paying attention to that, who are working on that.
I definitely saw one of the interviews where there was some other gentleman who was speaking about green card backlog, and we appreciate. And this is definitely a bipartisan issue, has to be solved. So now we are at the crossroads, with September here, November 3rd is the election, and we still are seeking some respite. Immediate respite is what?
No, you see, again, don't put yourself into this artificial timeline. The only timeline for this thing is to November 3rd is where all the political parties, all the political candidates, they're looking for every single vote. So to maximize that time frame to get commitments, to have commitments which they cannot go back on.
So Shalabji, we understand getting commitments from the candidates, from the people, the political aspirants and everybody. For right now, I am worried about the H4s losing their status, in the sense USCIS is delaying it badly. Biometrics have come into picture to make the life of H4 visa holders hell. If this kind of EAD, this EO comes from the president, it will be a great relief.
Sure, that's of course what you do is the best you can. I only told you we put in the best efforts. We said from our side is non-negotiable in terms of president asking for a campaign like we had in 2016. So right. that part is there, and the kind of things are moving towards that. I told you about the invitation to 30 leaders and so forth. So it's the timeline is to whether get an EO or whether you get a very firm commitment, or also you get from the other side as well, very firm commitment.
We are so tired of commitments, of doing everything. We want to see something. I have reached out to you personally again. I have reached out to Dr. Sampath Shivangi, who's of course in part of the Trump's administration, the Mississippi delegate, for last 5 years. He's the chairman of our nonprofit High Skill Immigrants for America. 8th of March, we placed the letter to the president. We had only 3 demands. We did not speak about S386 with all the chaos going around. We said, 1, please give us EADs without compelling circumstances, I-140 EADs. 2, do not count the dependent. Third option, which cannot be achieved, a lot of politics behind, was give us unused visa numbers. These are the 3 requests placed to the White House, still under consideration. We were hopeful something will come. Things got delayed. What is politics behind? We really don't know. Who's watching it? We don't know. I had to reach out to you as well, sir, because of that, seeking your help.
But Josna, I keep on telling you, maybe we should conclude with this. Politicians in democracies all over the world, all over, it's not just the United States, it's India, Europe, anywhere, democracy, 2 things move, votes or notes. Votes.
Sir, we can neither
notes.
give votes, neither cannot, nor can we give notes.
Politicians move. So
we can't do both. It will be illegitimate.
What?
To give notes.
You see, DACA comes into picture. Why they can't vote, but why there are so many people who are in support of DACA?
How? I mean, the nexus of notes and votes is not there. I mean, they are the prospective voters.
No, of course, the nexus of the if Biden, for example, for a moment he says I'm against DACA, he's forget. There's no way he could get elected. I mean, that's gone. Whatever the KO, you could tell me over there, what's the percentage of Hispanic vote? 20% or something like that?
Yeah, around 20%. 23%, I think.
Yeah, so that over there is, if you lose even 4 or 5% of that, Biden is history. So therefore, that's how these movements come about, and that's how things move on votes and notes. If again, I go back to, I know people are hurting, and they could be, there's a lot of pain, and people are hurting, so you kind of get impatient on it. But if you don't want to repeat the last 13 years where it has been just moving on and on and on and on, nothing happens. What the suggestion I given to you, and you probably are the absolutely the right person to lead this effort. Unite everybody. Not have and recognize that there's going to be different opinions and different things. So a common platform for a green card backlogged Indian community and the Dalka kids. Common platform.
What's the bill?
No, you see, they will come up with that. You get impatient on it. Again, they could come up with an approach. Okay, let's do this on the EAD. Let's do this. Let's on the bill is 386. Let's see how many people we could get on senators who maybe go through the unanimous consent route.
That is something for later. Shalabji, non-negotiable. We are looking for an EO from president. We need at least EADs. We need straight help from you, from all the people in authority, or if anybody is watching me from the people position of authority. We need help on getting an EO pass right now, where we are minimally asking for an EAD. A parallel solution, bill passing is the excellent thing to happen. It's not seeming, true exactly. It's not going to get realized soon. I look so at least for the time being, we need your help, or we need everybody's help in getting an EO from the president, giving us respite to stay in this country, change our jobs, open businesses, boom this economy more. It can so happen so nicely, and in matter of months. There are hundreds and thousands of people waiting to invest in houses here, make another investment in this country, bring their money from their native land to this country, to call this country a home. Not able to do it because we are not having any guarantee.
See, Josna, you are on the right track. Just have some little patience. You're on the right track. Okay, have the Zoom meeting with U.S. tech workers. then immediately after that, organize meeting at the White House.
Okay, so we will have a meeting with the opposition. And I understand that. And we will try to know their stance as well. And openly, if I have to reveal to everybody, the first conversation that I ever had with Mr. Kevin Lynn and Mr. Roger Ross of US Tech Workers, October 2019, 1 hour, 35 minutes conversation. I definitely got something positive from them as well, where they seemingly had some willingness to support us for EADs, I-140 EADs, where I had a long series of arguments or answers and questions that we had shared. And if they are willing to help us equally from the opposition, we don't mind the H-1B reforms as well, because they're speaking about H-1B reforms. If I have spoken to Kevin, they are speaking about bringing reforms to H-1B visa misuse, to whatever misuses happen to this visa, or the low wages that they are brought in, or the level of everything. Of course, people of your high stature, if they present, talk to them on our behalf is great, sir, because the circles of the Congress, Senate, White House, administration. I am a lesser piece there, I just initiated the conversation to understand their take. It was positive to know from them that they said, Mr. Kevin Lynn said himself, we are ready to help you out conditionally. There is a proper, solution that comes to the abuse of H-1B visas. I mean, their contention or their hatred towards us has been, they have been vocal and saying that this is the high skill category, as you name it as. Of course, I had big argument there also. They don't term H-1B visa as high skill for their certain reasons, and we are on negotiation for that. We're talking to them. And of course, there's a whole big round of the conversation has to go. We have to meet those people as well, because this is the opposition, which is a vote bank. We are not vote bank. So we have to listen to everybody. I have been speaking to them. Yes, I am trying to assess there that how best from the opposition as well, we can seek some help, which if it is on the common platform, if they're willing to help us with the EADs for time being, we'll be more than thankful to them. We'll be more than happy. Of course, it's an open platform. If you're watching, we are there to cooperate, help out from that person, level. So I don't know. We are trying to see every angle. Yes.
Josna, we don't have to call them, or you don't have to call them, again, opposition. They're working on the same issues, same things. And I also would like to make clear myself and RSC's, let's say, position on H-1Bs. In the last 1 month, again, you have told me, which kind of sounds really, let's say, what's the right word? I never thought that there could be that much abuse.
See, there is an abuse. So we are the abused category. If I have to see vocally, we people in the green card backlog are the abused category. Okay?
No.
We are not employers. We are employees.
No, H-1Bs, that if there is so much abuse there. So our position is take care of everybody who's on the green card backlog. Absolutely. Take care of the DALCA. Do whatever you need to do with the H-1B. So that is very clear.
See, our call to US Tech workers is simple. 600,000 of us in the United States of America are here for many, many years. Our kids have grown, aging out. We don't want to compromise even a single person exiting this country now. But we agree somewhere, if you are willing to bring a reform to H-1B abuse or whatever you say, name it, as the opponents or the people from US Tech workers or different organizations who call this abuse issue, we will stand by, because we don't want any abuse from our front as well. The problem is we are the abused category ourselves, because we are in a big, huge backlog. Had we known from our employers as well that we are going to take 100 years to get a green card in this country, we would have chosen some other country and would have gone there. Unfortunately, it faded. Every year seemed rosy. Oh, we'll get a green card. We'll get a green card. Now the bill will pass. Now the bill will pass, and the bill will pass. And the bill has never passed. So, to the US tech workers as well, we ready to negotiate with you, but on a condition, none of us 600,000 people is moving out of the country. We will stay here. We need justice because, and we are here. We have made America great here. You know, we contributed our STEM skills. We contributed our labor, hard work, dedication, expertise, innovation. Don't shoot us out. An H-1B visa has been misused by many other countries where pizza making guys are coming there. $11 an hour wages, $22 an hour wages. You never oppose them. Please go and research that scam as well. People from Iran, people from many other countries, they come on H-1B visa, get their green cards. What's their pay? Please look at their wages. $20 an hour, $15 an hour, $11 an hour. Please research that. We are not that bad as you have been lamenting, or your people are lamenting. It's wrong, sir. So, I mean, now we are on a solution level. We are talking. Either the thing is, we have to sit all together to speak about the bill. S386, what is your take? Final take I'll take from you, Shalabji. What is your take on S386 future right now, considering it is under unanimous consent? With your expert advice.
Yeah, see, X386, that really needs to be introduced to the Judiciary Committee with sponsors as Lindsey Graham, Rand Paul, certainly Mike Lee, and Dick Durbin, and it could move through the Judiciary Committee very quickly. So that's the best hope from a legislative side. There's the executive side, legislative side. That is the best hope for the S386.
Okay, thank you. And about the EO from the president
on
140
you are already on the path. I think having this U.S. tech workers to let's say lessen the resistance from Stephen Miller. That is, I mean, that's an important voice. So you always in a democracy, or there you have to look at every voice, and so that's a good idea. So I've already said, told your audience, told you what our position is, and so we're going to be pushing very hard on it. Now, if it U.S. tech workers live up to what they told you,
see, they are ready to help. If they are saying they need complete reform on H-1B abuse, they are ready to help us for the green card backlog community.
This is always, it's like a legislation or any of these things in Washington, D.C. is like cooking a meal in a kitchen.
We understand that.
You have to mix all kinds of different things and come up with a solution. So it's not that the U.S. tech workers are going to get everything they want. Okay, it's not going to be over there, and if they start taking the position, oh, you got to do this on H-1B, and you got to do this and this and this over there, we're going to eliminate H-1B and all that, then they will have a huge opposition from all these U.S. Chamber of Commerce and Microsofts of the world. So, you got to have a, and I'll tell you what, Senator Lindsey Graham, Senator Dick Durbin, Senator Rand Paul, they are masters at their art. They know how to cook a meal. So.
We understand that. I'm also learning these this special art of cooking there through you, through the people like you, great people you have helped one way or other. Shalabji, I'm very thankful to you for this session today. People have many a times called you bad names, and I want to give this a closure with those things when they have apparently some videos surfaced and they say you have ties with the IT Serve Alliance. So you've been bought by IT Serve Alliance and you have killed the prospect of I-140 EADs back in 2015. I never met you that time. And for the people who allegedly come back blaming me also, Jyotsna has tied up with Shalabh Kumar since 2015 to kill I-140 EAD. So for your public's information, I met Mr. Shalabh Kumar only in February 2018. And that was the day after that I became very vocal for the immigration advocacy, green card backlog advocacy. So Shalabh ji, aap lekin bataiye, you have been tainted so badly that they say you've been bought by IT Serve Alliance.
When you enter public space, I mean, that's just, you have to take it for, it's going to happen. So it's okay. Again, 2013, what I've told you, I didn't even hear about the word.
You were not aware about
EAD. EAD, I kind of, in my conscious, EAD is only like maybe.
So you were not aware about what is
6 months or something like that. That was a big, big problem for L1 visa holders and India's economy. Huge
okay,
issue.
So you were not educated because a teacher like me was not there to teach you on I-140 EAD, right?
Okay, so now as far as the second question is concerned, IT Serve, okay? I have not had any conversation with them for last 2 years. And
dating back?
Huh?
Month? 2 years in the sense?
2 years.
So you said September 2018?
Yeah, right. So September or maybe October or something like that. So somewhere for,
okay.
And I just don't ever get that concept over there. So see, when IT Serve, A, I haven't had any conversation with them. B, I hear things differently from you than when we were associated with them for 3 months.
3 months.
Okay.
That's it?
So at that time, they very strongly, they talked about Dalka, take care of Dalka. They talked about taking care of green card backlog. So they, you got to take the people for on their face word, whatever they're saying, and I can't tell, you tell me stories about IT Serve doing this, or IT Serve doing this, IT Serve doing that. I'm not aware of any of those. And
this is what people have told me as well. I mean, it's not my story. Okay, it's accumulative. But there is so much vengeance.
I do not know
in people.
Do I have some friends who are owners of some companies in IT Serve, or maybe not IT Serve or something like that? Yeah, I have some friends. It's like I have so many friends, a lot more friends in Dalka community and a lot more friends in the GC backlog community. So, they say over there, IT Serve, that was their position. What their position is, I will tell you this, IT Serve was kind of the reason we disassociated with them back in 2018, they were a little disorganized people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't a common something which they could come up with. So it was like a mixed
so they themselves were not united on the front. They were mixed feelings coming in. I mean, people were mixed expressions. You are saying that?
That's correct.
Okay. And now for the IT Serve, that clause that people from one of the esteemed advocacy group, they keep taking the name of IT Serve as an organization. Clarification for you as well. My dear friends, if the bill S386 passes by any whatsoever condition, okay? If this bill passes, the S386, for which you say that IT Serve Alliance is against it, I'll share some facts with you as well. I am not a representative of IT Serve Alliance, okay? And most of you who are working as consultants or as employees of various organizations, your organizations are part of IT Serve Alliance groups or Tech Serve Alliance groups, okay? For you, all your information, I am giving you first-hand information right now. As a part of the media, last year, in September, it was September, October, whatever, the National Convention of IT Sub-Alliance. I attended that in Chicago. I am the most, notorious person probably for them, if from your perception probably as well, that I'm speaking about green card backlog and advocacy. Well, I went there. They had called, the Congressman Rajagopal from Chicago, and there was another senator. I've forgotten his name, and they were questioning him about S386, because apparently the IT Sub Alliance, most of the people whom I met, the companies, they were supporting S386. I was very surprised, not shocked. I was surprised. How come I have heard so bad about IT Sub Alliance? They're supporting S386. Do you know why S386 is being supported? Because even if this bill passes, not everybody will get green card. It will take many years for people to get green cards. So the H1Bs will be still with them. The new breed of H1Bs will keep coming in, will keep serving the companies. Some will have freedom to pursue their passion and dreams, do businesses when they get their green cards. If S386 bill passes, it is not the whole chunk of H1Bs that comes out of the loop of these companies. Fact one. Fact two, for IT Sub-Alliance, those who always allege, because I have seen every angle and I'm suffering in this. And I'm telling you today, because you are blindfolded by those akas who tell you to abuse X person, Y person, not even thinking, using your logic, and you become keyboard warriors there. I'm telling you, IT Sub Alliance has there are people who were fully supporting the bill S386. Do you know why? Most of the IT Sub Alliance companies are small companies. They don't have many employees on them. They don't have many direct clients with them, of course. People who are bigger integrators had been taking their chunk of business because they get clients and they place the low wage workers as per the opposition that comes from US tech workers as well. Somewhere I didn't see the opposition from IT Sub Alliance as well on S386, because they know for sure it will take 10 or 15 years still for a person who's joining today on H1B to get green card. So the whole business will go as usual. And one more thing, people who are part of the IT Sub Alliance, even if you get green card, they have their clients and whatever, you will still be employed by these companies. With my experience working for different IT staffing firms, what I have gained is that most of the IT staffing firms these days have more US citizens and green card holders or EAD holders working for them than H1Bs. Because the laws have become very stringent, people have been really, struggling to maintain their H1Bs. So many rejections came, so many amendments, rejections, so much of negativity was there in Trump administration. Because of that, IT Sub Alliance was apparently looking favorable for S386. Now, for all of you who bash IT Sub Alliance or who connect Shalabh Kumar or not or anybody's conjunction, please stop framing stories. Stand on a platform where we have to unite to get our work done. I'm not here to preach or teach here, but I'm extremely tortured, suffering in a status when I lose my job for 5 months, when I have to renew my visas. And I don't get it, despite being capable. So I am suffering. That's why I'm expressing this to all my audience today. Stop butchering the names of the organizations. You're not even united there. EO is the thing I'm parallelly advocating. I reached out to Mr. Kumar is because this is something, a parallel relief for us right now, immediate relief for our aging out kids, for whatsoever it is, for at least to have a visa running, not get rejected or deport to a country. This is COVID situation. Most of the clients are not hiring H1Bs. So if you have a 60-day rule and you don't have a project, you have to be kicked out of this country during COVID. Where would you survive? You will only survive if you have an EAD, because that 60-day rule applies to H1B, not to EAD. We will get to work here. We will find the work someday. We have been here in this country for the last 10, 15 years. You understand that? That is the call for EAD, sir. That is the call for EAD, sir. That's why I'm reaching to everybody for this EO, sir, Shalabji. Because people are losing jobs. Sir, I'm sorry, I'm emotional, but I'm telling you the facts. Why is the ground for you? The rest is up to you, Shalabji.
Well, I've already told you what our position is and what we are doing. It is a priority for us, and let's see what happens. And not only a priority from President Trump's side, it's a priority from Vice President Biden's side. Priority to have a version of 386, whatever form it goes, whether it's Durbin amendments plus some more amendments, whatever name you can call it. You know, you could give it a, you could give.
Sir, if you're supporting us
you could give it any name which you want. You could call it an IV bill. Okay, that's okay too. It doesn't
listen,
matter.
Now with the closing statements, I will ask two questions from two different people. One question came from SIA President Anirban Das. He said in last 4 years, Trump administration has done nothing good for H-1B visa holders or people in the green card backlog. What is your take on that?
I would, in a way, I kind of agree. I agree that, the president has raised many times, he's tweeted out and said merit-based immigration, merit-based immigration. And I know his heart that that's what he wants. He wants more like a Canada and Australia. And that's what he wants. I mean, like I give you the example of when we talked about Dalka, how amazed he was to know of this. But there are forces, and the other thing is, because there are forces which oppose, and there are forces, a biggest factor is we do not have a united voice. That is the biggest factor. If you have 20 people tugging at the ball at goal from different directions, what is, the president is going to ask a lot of people, what's your opinion? What's your opinion? What's your opinion? They ask different people's opinion. Okay, when they ask different people's opinion, what do you think Senator Cotton is going to say? What do you think Senator Rand Paul is going to say? He even will ask the opinion from Chuck Schumer, what he's going to say. So it's again equated to DACA. One of the biggest success stories is DACA. If we followed that prescription, this 13-year will become 13 months.
DACA is now offering an extra 15% credit on.
Okay, all right. So thank you, Shalabji. With those inputs about, suggestion of uniting everyone. Another question was, I'll relate it to you as you say unite. So when you exited the advocacy efforts for us for some time last year, we disassociated with RSC with you. We were annoyed that Shalabji has not really heard my, I was particularly annoyed because you didn't hear about my I-140 EAD proposal, and that too without compelling circumstances, as I said. And you said, I don't know what this term is, and you never were able to pronounce it properly. So actually, you said, maybe you unite your efforts and follow Aman Kapoor, Immigration Voice.
That's okay too.
But Immigration Voice has been working relentlessly on S386. What is the fault?
See, but then what you have to have is within immigration, like I said, Immigration Voice, Aman Kapoor, and all these people, if you have a broad board, okay, and they could think through this. Is this the way to go? Is that pass 386 through Judiciary Committee or pass it through on a unanimous consent? Okay, so it's not should be like a dictatorial terms. Let the community think through this, have different positions, and then decide. If it in that respect, Aman Kapoor was to lead this, like in many times I've told you that he has been so much into it. Perhaps he's the one who should lead it.
See,
So
he has been
if
very
we,
vocal about it for last 13 years, but apparently what has happened with the organization, of course, they have been taking a lot of funding from people, recurring deposits, the donations are flowing in and they try to do good things. Of course, they're doing, but approach seems to have been lost somewhere, the right approach. Had it come through a normal vote, we would have still been successful by this
that's
time.
correct. If it's went through a normal process, I think there was a significant achievement when 1044 in the House it passed. Okay, and if that thing had gone through the same in the Senate.
Unfortunately, that's where we faltered, and we appreciate Immigration Voice's effort there, to get the bill passed in the House and all other organizations. It's not just Ivy, the people from SIA, from another organization by the name Illinois Immigration Forum, and then of course Republican Hindu Coalition people who joined. You left, and we formed a group by the name High Skilled Immigrants for High Skilled Immigrants in Green Card Backlog, and then of course I came into picture forming another non-profit 501c4, especially so that we can do some lobbying and all, to do the advocacy for this green card backlog and S386 as well. So we are all together in the cause, but somewhere we are distracted with people, power, pelf and authority probably. That's a confusion for all the green card backlogged immigrants here, divided by different forces. And it's not about credit giving or taking. It's about where finally can we find a solution. If we have to unite together, we must. Simple as that. Mr. Kumar is very right there. But yes, we should put brainstorming sessions as to what path should it have followed. Mr. Kumar, Mr. Aman Kapoor has followed a very unilateral path and he doesn't really give access to other people. If anybody tries to object, he's kicked out of the group, he or she. So that should not be done. We are together in this call. So let's call it together. Open platform, open discussion, solve it together. And for everybody's information, I-140 EAD, as we speak about or say, the very good proposal that Mr. Shalabh Kumar has given today is about a permanent EAD card for all those who have been approved for I-140, who have been approved I-140. This is a parallel solution so that we are safeguarded, so that we don't have to go through the grueling process of visa extensions, H4 visa extensions as well, to say that EADs we are losing because of that, and other grueling circumstances, H1B amendments, or in the COVID situation, leaving this country. Because if we don't get a project, we'll be kicked out. It's a parallel solution. It is not a distraction to S386 100%. I so very much support Bill S386. So does Mr. Shalabh Kumar. Problem is the approach of presenting the bill. Unanimous consent is not landing us anywhere. I don't know how best we can work. We don't have time, sir. Maybe next session, when the Congress opens, the Senate opens again after elections, probably we might have to visit or rename a bill or do whatever. It's an open call. But right now, one call, one request, one submission, we need EADs for time
See,
being.
in submission, Josna, the strategy, which again, I mean, we are some Indian Americans, Indians here, and whether it's a green card backlog and all that, pretty smart people. If they think it logically and have some people with a lot of experience come in and give them suggestions and give them a talk, and then form a board, and then you make decisions on that basis, and then it could move forward. To me, right now, the best solution for the GC backlog and Dalka kid is get an EO or get a commitment, a solid written commitment from both sides on the EO, okay, on the EAD, permanent EAD, and as well as immediate green cards to Dalka. And then it may take 2 years or whatever, 1 year, 13 months, like I've said. It may take time to get the actual legislation passed. That's okay, because your problem is solved. In the meantime, that's the best approach.
We look up to your support, sir. That's why you're on my show today. We appreciate the efforts of all our leaders who have been supporting us in this. Dr. Sampath Shivangi being one who has already presented our letter to the White House. At least, we started hearing news about EO after that, of course. So we are in the process, but we need to cement our efforts with tall leaders like you to joining together. There is one more question before we close. They ask, whenever there is an election time, why is Shalli Kumar coming up that time only? Why is he not supporting? What
So
do you have to
also
say?
is a very good answer to that. You see, Washington, D.C. moves with votes and notes. So obviously there is a time when it comes closer to that. So if, again, the community is united and both sides could benefit from it, they're going to pay a lot more attention to a policy issue at the time of elections than they will otherwise. So that's a simple, simple answer. That's how the world moves. That's how democracy moves. It's not Putin's Russia. It's not Saudi Arabia or where you're gonna have just a authoritarian person can say, okay, let's gonna do this. So that's how the democratic world moves.
Thank you so much, Shalabh Kumarji. Thank you, Keo, for being a wonderful spectator with us together. I'm sorry.
My face.
No, because you've been working together with Mr. Kumar for quite some time now. And you are an American, raised and born here, right?
Right.
How do you feel about all this as an outsider? I'll call you an outsider for time being because we are still having some motherly roots from India. And I'm an Indian still. Okay. How do you feel about this situation, Keo? You're an outsider. From that perspective,
I think the way that Shally first explained this to the president 4 years back, 4 years back, about the DACA situation.
2 years back.
Yeah, and how the president responded, he didn't know. He had no idea about any of this. He was in complete shock. Whenever Shally explained the situation to me, you know what, I'm born and raised here. My family is from here. I haven't had to deal with many of the trials and tribulations that others have. I was naive as well. I thought that you apply for a green card, you get I had no idea it was such a process until I met Shally years ago. And it really hit home with me. My wife her mother is actually from Mexico, immigrated here. So I've heard stories, but until I really hit the ground with Shally, it's become a passion of mine. I'm doing everything in my power as well, fighting the good fight. And it's a travesty. It's heartbreaking seeing these kids that are aging out, seeing people that are stuck in 60-year backlog, because it's just not right. It's ungodly. It's there are so many adjectives that we could throw out, and it's something that needs to stop. There needs to be an immediate solution for it, and that's what the RHC is doing, and we will never veer from that. And I think Shally has expressed that numerous times over throughout this conversation, is we're doing everything that we can. Unfortunately, things take time. But we're doing everything in our power. We're meeting with all of the right people, and we're confident that we will find a solution.
Appreciate your comments there, Keo. Thank you for all the efforts you are putting for us as well. We appreciate that help. And Shaliji, before we close, this question will keep coming. How much time will EO will take to pass?
You see, that's nobody can predict. That's not that would be just like a predicting the U.S. election on November 3rd. Okay, so you could put if you're a betting man and a Vegas guy, then you could put odds on it. Okay, so you really cannot really put odds on it, how long it'll take.
So
if it's the way this president moves,
we have seen ample of EOs from him.
Yeah, the way this president
Overnight.
moves, that let's say the meeting takes place with the 30 leaders and probably include some Dalka kids in there as well. And the president actually sees in flesh and blood, and here's the tale, and here's the solution. Calls Stephen Miller. What's your opinion? Calls Tom Cotton. What's your opinion? Lindsey Graham, he'll say yes. Rand Paul, he'll say yes. He's very close with Rand Paul these days. And on top of that, US tech workers say yes. Okay, then it's a done deal. But that's what all has to happen. It's like all what do they say? All stars lining up.
We will put in our best efforts there, sir. Wherever you need our help and representation, we are there. We will do that together, collectively. When I say we, I don't represent an organization. We as in our community together. I may have one non-profit, open for a cause, just named it because I had to send a letter or whatever, is another thing. But we are all 600,000 of us. We are talking here when we speak about. And sir, I must tell you, if it is about notes and votes, if it is about president taking cognizance of this green card backlog community and giving them this EO, giving them these EADs at this at this time, you must understand, he will have many loyal voters in future.
You see,
I mean, the Republican Party will have loyal voters in future for that reason.
Josna, political operatives don't think like that. Okay? Long-term thinkers like Newt Gingrich or Mark Levine, I'm sure you saw this picture. Long-term thinkers, okay? They think like that. Campaign managers like Bill Stepien on one side, okay? Ronna McDaniel, RNC chief, they don't quite think like that. They know in 2016, it was 85,000 votes in 3 battleground states of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania that made Donald Trump to be the president of the United States. Now, if the community was all, not the backlog community, but the overall community, you know how many voters do we have in those 3 states?
Nope.
Indian American voters?
No.
Hindu American voters?
No.
Indian American voters in just those 3 states. It's 85,000 votes that made the difference. If in those, what we have is roughly 400,000 Indian American voters in just those 3 states. Okay? If they were showing their passion about this cause, like DACA people, like Latin Americans, like those people show, then we won't be having all these conversations. Things will already be done.
Well, it's been interesting insight from you, the challenges that we have, the solutions that you're proposing, and of course, the hope for the EO that we still eye on. And as you say, President Trump is highly unpredictable. You never know. If everything moves fast, we can see it fast. And we will not leave any stone unturned to talk to anybody, people who are opposing us or people who are supporting. We have to come together and solve the problem. Hatred begets hatred. Solution lies in talking and solving the problems. For everybody who's watching today, it is a lengthy session. Thank you, sir, Shalabji, for spending 2 hours, 30 minutes, 2.5 hours in this conversation today. And to everybody there, I have been vocal. I have been doing this show, Voice of Legal Immigrants. Thanks to Mana TV platform. Thanks to Mr. Sridhar Chillara, the CEO of Mana TV. Thanks to Mana TV International, Mana TV, TV5, everybody who has supported me here, especially Mr. Sridhar Chillara, gave me a platform to talk about these issues. I must tell you, I do not make money from any advocacy. I do not accept any donation from anyone. Whatever work I have done till date to enlighten the masses, to speak about the right things, to represent whether I have reached out to Mr. Shalabh Kumar or Mr. Dr. Sappa Shivangi or any other person through whom we have reached out to the White House, to the right people. Not even a single penny I have taken for any advocacy effort. I don't run recurring deposits to do any advocacy either. So before you malign me again on your Twitter handles or anywhere for my nexus with Mr. Shalabh Kumar or anybody else or IT Serve, you please better know that I am suffering in this backlog. That's why I'm vocal. And I will not give up unless we get our green cards. For time being, my fight is for EOs. For EO from the president to get the EADs so that we are saved from the hassle of extending our H1Bs, of losing a job and deporting to our country in 60 days. We don't want that now. COVID is really cruel. A lot of H1Bs are getting laid off. We have to save everybody right now to be here because they have built their houses here. They have their family, their kids studying in schools here. 60 days is very less time to be kicked out of this country when you have stayed here. That is the reason I did this show today. That is the reason Mr. Shalabh Kumar is here. He heard me finally for this EAD thing. It is not a distraction to Bill S386. Mind you, mind the words of Senator Rick Scott in the letter that I've read to everybody. The note has come from White House. We can't do anything unless we move the things in the right direction. Well, people like Mr. Shalabh Kumar, having close connection with the White House, many other representatives, or Dr. Sampat Shivangi, or many other leaders whom I have seen working, or maybe the new people who are in the campaign right now, if they're hearing me, they are the people who can help us right now. Or the people who in the Democratic Party, people in the Joe Biden's and Kamala Harris team, you can help us. We are just here seeking help. And that's the reason I do this show. I don't run a business on donations. I would neither. High Skilled Immigrants for America is the name of the nonprofit we created, only to do advocacy. Nothing much. There is a Facebook page, a Facebook group. You want to join us. We will keep you posted with more updates there. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Shalabh. Closing remarks from you, and we will say goodbye to all our viewers after that.
Well, first of all, Josna, thanks for having myself and KO here on your show. It's a probably the longest show which we have done, 2.5 hours. You have a lot of energy. You have a lot of passion. I've seen you work over the last 2 years extensively on this, and absolutely true that you spend so much of your personal time on these issues. And so you're commended for that. Very passionate about it. And as far as the path is concerned, just I will say so that this does not linger on for the next 10 years or next 13 years.
We don't have
the community needs to unite. All the 600,000 people in the backlog. Green cards are not going to come to you. Become like DACA. Listen to Senator Rand Paul when he says your voice is too small. Unite, have a board, make up a platform, and then everybody comes on that platform. And then, like we say, what is that in Hindi? You say, ek or ek gyara.
G.
Right? Then you will have from Gyara, you will have 111, you will have 1111. And that's what will happen. And that is what is needed at the time. Thank you.
Highly appreciate. Thank you, Keo, for being here with us. Long discussion, long exposure. Thank you to all my audience who are watching right now. You are there. You watched me for 2.5 hours. You watched us for 2.5 hours because we are waiting for decades. You can hold back for 2.5 hours. Yes, you waited today. We're not distracting anything. We have to get some minimal solution today. That's what I want to end today with. Go on the path. S386, unfortunately, with unanimous consent, is not going exactly anywhere with Senator Rick Scott's solid hold. We have to work with opposition as well. We have to work with our leaders and representatives as well. And we will work. I will work. I will be vocal. And thank you, Shalabji, for supporting us. We will follow up with you and we will keep our viewers posted on next steps. Everyone, have a good night. We wish you all the very best. We will come back soon with better news on this proposed EO and the EAD thing that we are talking about. And sure, it is not a distraction to anything else. Thank you, sir. Appreciate everyone. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night to everyone.